Hey, hello everybody. Greg Buckley here for another adventure of, well, we got a couple of them, but I'm at the room today with the one and only Mitch Bunting. And Mitch and I are going to talk a little bit about what his experience has been with Paul Cares. He's been through the student program at Del Tech, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and a culinary student, an intern, and he's got a lot going on. Mitch, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate everything. And how you been?
Pretty good. It's been a few years now that I've been on this journey. I started out with Paul around 2022, the summer of 2022. Met him through the Fitzke brothers. Started working the Sunday brunches. And from there, started taking my classes at Del Tech. Then I transferred to Johnson & Wales University. I'm in my last semester, so I'll graduate this May. I'm currently working at Harbor, Canal Square in Lewis, which is owned by the Paps. Yeah. And then May 2nd, I'll graduate.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
From Johnson & Wales?
Yes.
That's a big institute.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
yeah.
My nephew did have the opportunity to go. In fact, I think he did graduate way back when as well. It's like one of the top schools in the country, isn't it?
Yeah. Some people consider number one or number two. Yeah. Our biggest rival would be the CIA. So there's the big two. But yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest like nationwide institutions.
Yeah. But when you say you go there, that's like telling somebody you went to Juilliard for music.
Yeah.
So it's got that kind of a reputation to it.
It's associated with it for sure.
Yeah.
The main difference between JWU and the CIA is the Culinary Institute of America is a dedicated culinary school, whereas JWU is also a university. So there's a bunch of other programs, not just culinary, but it's come to be known for that. And it's kind of a running joke, we have more than cooking, but it's the biggest program at the school.
And it's not government related, like the CIA, the real CIA, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Culinary Institute of America, correct? Okay,
yeah.
We're going to get that out of the way. Just to clarify for those that may go, CIA?
Yeah.
What's he doing? He's cooking. What's he doing with the CIA? You know?
No secret agent stuff
No
there.
secret agent stuff, right? Unless you got a secret recipe.
Yeah.
Right, you don't want to give it out. Hey, how did you get yourself started? What attracted you to the culinary arts and cooking and all that? Where did that begin at?
So I grew up very fortunately in a cooking family. My mom knows how to cook. My dad knows how to cook. Both sets of grandparents were always cooking. The Food Network was always on. So I took interest in it. And when I was around 13, I started cooking at home and kind of decided that it's what I wanted to do and I would give it a shot. Took the classes in high school and I decided I would go to Del Tech and kind of just gradually amped it up, and now I'm where I am today.
Do you feel that does it check off all your boxes from personal satisfaction to your imagination, creativity? How does that all balance into you as Mitch Bunting, the person?
I would say it has. As I've gone on, I've learned stuff about myself. I've become more creative, which is always something I've struggled with. I'm not always great at coming up with a plate design or a recipe, but it gets easier and it gets better. And I've looked back and I've reflected and I was, look back at a time that was maybe challenging and I was like, oh, that was easy,
Right.
I could go back and kill that now. So that's kind of how I've measured my progress and felt satisfied is, like with labs at school, we took casual dining and I thought that was the worst class ever. This year I took fine dining and I was like, take me back to casual. That was a cakewalk.
Right.
This is insane.
Right.
So that's kind of how I check the boxes and see where I'm at.
Right, and you progress, and every step up the ladder makes you more accomplished, makes you better feel. You said something about designing a plate. How do you design a plate?
Well, everybody does it differently.
Yeah.
I've worked with people that can just look at it and they throw it right together and it looks great. You want to have a balance of color and height and some people have told me look at it as like a grid and you want to have, things falling into place. Some people are super uniform. There's so much into it. It's an art.
Right.
And some people are great at it. I'm getting better at it.
So it's really presentation. That's what it's all about, right? Okay, so it's got to be difficult because I would assume how the food comes out, where you have to put it, like a layered type dish. That's got to be difficult.
It is, and there's a lot to it because doing it once is great.
Right.
And depending on what you're doing, you might have to repeat it 3 times, 50 times.
Maybe even 15 times in one night that's the order that comes through, and every presentation has to be as perfect as the original, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of pressure sometimes. So, do you handle that well? I mean, are you at that position where, okay, you need 10 plates of whatever, and it's got to look like this? Mm-hmm. So,
I try to handle it. It's a bit of a struggle. I'm getting better at it. Mm-hmm. In fact, the other night at work, the owner, Gary Pappy, told me, he's like, you want your first plate to be awesome, but your last plate that goes out needs to be good, just as good, if not better than your first plate. So,
and that's for that 10 o'clock diner when you're closing at 11 and you got...
Yeah, right. Half the kitchen's clean already, but the plate's got to look just as good. Yeah. So that kind of helps trying to, it needs to be good now. I need to do it good here, and it needs to be good at the end.
Right. Now, if I remember correctly, you had that experience in Italy. What was that like for you?
It was awesome. I mean, it was a trip of my life. I've really never been outside of the country other than a cruise. So to go to Europe and, see their walk of life and eat food that's different from ours and, experience a culture that's totally different was incredible. I mean, America's only 250 years old. Right. To be in a country that's thousands of years old and standing in the Colosseum, which has been there for way longer than anything here has. In the Vatican, it's breathtaking, really.
And how long were you there for?
10 or 11 days,
really?
Counting travel time.
Yeah.
So it was about a week in Sorrento.
Okay, and Sorrento. Mm-hmm. Isn't that the lemon?
There's a lot of lemons there,
yeah. Because when I was over there, that was the first thing they wanted to try the limoncello.
Oh, yeah.
You got to make the limoncello.
Yeah, we got to do that one day, and that was awesome.
That's great.
Just seeing so much and learning how to do things their way.
Yeah.
Because it's totally different from here.
And the food seemed to be different. Did you find that to be true? Like the way they prepare their dish, the freshness, the type of ingredients that they use?
Yeah, I mean, I've told people it's almost cliche, but a lot of things tasted better there.
Yeah.
Coffee tasted better there. The pasta. I mean, I don't think any pasta I had while I was there was dried or came out of the box.
Right.
The seafood, they're literally getting it right out of the water. Right. I mean, similar to here, but, having it in their way. And, over there they don't process stuff as much as we do. Right. So, yeah.
I mean, we're fortunate because we have the Eastern Shore that we depend on for fresh, brackish type seafood, right? And we have the Atlantic Ocean, we have all that. But there, it is different. I mean, I agree with you 100% that my time over there was the same type of feeling, that the food was different. And I tried to say to myself, it's not just because I'm in a different place. The food is different, and it seems to be fresher. And what I found was, like, the presentation was what we would call exceptional, but over there it seemed to be fairly, that's like a common thing. It should be that way. So it was great that you got to experience that. And again, that experience comes back over here. And are you practicing anything that you had learned over there while you're here?
I would say so. The food, the way they prepare it, the simplicity of it, because a lot of their food is very simple, and they look at it holistically. They make sure each ingredient is good. And in my cooking, I try to practice that the best I can, and respecting the ingredients, because that was something I noticed too. They took a lot of pride in the tomatoes that they grew, or at the limoncello factory. They were hand picking the lemons, inspecting them. There seemed to be a lot of passion in it. So I've tried to apply that the best I can into my own cooking.
That's good. Who would you say that your favorite chef is? Do you have a particular one?
Yeah, I love Anthony Bourdain. Okay. I really didn't get into him until after he died, but I think he's probably one of the greatest celebrity chefs, only because he tried to bridge the gap and he didn't lie. He didn't sugarcoat it.
Right.
When he released Kitchen Confidential, a lot of people called him a turncoat, a Benedict Arnold, because he was like, look, if you order a well-done steak, I'm not giving you the best piece of beef I have in my refrigerator. Yeah. So he revealed a lot of the secrets, but he tried to bridge the gap. And there's a quote of his that I love. It's, your body's not a temple, it's an amusement park. enjoy the ride.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's great.
But, I love that quote because I've become, an adventurous eater, and you only have one life.
Right.
You might as well live it.
Enjoy it.
Eat the oyster.
I kind of liked how he went from right on the street.
Yeah.
And he preferred to eat in any bodega or street side restaurant, whatever he could find, wherever he was. That's where he would prefer to have a meal.
Yeah.
Because that's true eating. That's where you get all the flavors. And that's a heck of a person to look up to, and to have his attitude to bring that in. Do you see yourself like kind of bringing yourself to that level, like does it inspire you to experiment a little more, or to look at things a little different when you're creating your meal?
Yeah, I think so. Because his shows and his books also highlighted the people, and it's more than just food. There's a story behind it, and so like I said, with the passion, I try to put my passion into my food. Or if I go somewhere to eat, I try to understand the story, and look not just at the food, but the restaurant, the people. There's a lot to see if you're looking for it.
True. That's very true. So now at the point where you're at, you're still kind of, you said that prior to coming on, you're still a culinary student. You're still kind of like an intern. Do you feel that you'll forever keep that student type mindset, always wanting to learn?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's a very good mindset to have for any industry.
It's excellent.
I've had chefs at Del Tech tell me that. I've had chefs at JWU, don't stop learning. If the opportunity is there, why not take it? Yep. You're only bettering yourself, and I apply that to my professional life, my personal life. I'm always trying to read a book or, stay up to date on things because there's always something to learn.
Yeah, well, that goes into what else do you do besides cook?
Outside of cooking, like I said, I love to read. I play disc golf. I'm not that great at it.
All right.
I love collecting vinyl records.
Nice.
I know it's kind of back on the upswing.
Yeah, very much so.
It's a very expensive hobby.
True that. I can tell you.
I love to hang out with my friends. I love to go out and eat and try new restaurants. Matter of fact, I was just at Confucius last night with some of my work friends. Yeah. It's probably one of my favorite restaurants around here.
I just seen that, yes. Right on Wilmington Avenue, isn't it?
Yeah. If you love Chinese food, it's authentic.
Okay.
The owners are sweet people. I love it. It's a really great place to eat.
Fantastic. I got to keep that in mind because I was out that evening with some friends, and I saw that, and I go, that looks really, really interesting place to go. And I saw Confucius. I said, well, it's got to be Chinese food, right?
Yeah.
Chinese food, right? But it's got a little bit of flair to it?
Yeah. It's kind of cozy because I'm pretty sure like it's an old house.
Yeah.
And it's like a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And from the outside, you wouldn't know, but it's very cozy on the inside. The food's delicious. It's fresh.
Okay. Is it true to the Chinese cooking? Or?
I would say so. It's definitely more authentic than
I was going to say more authentic than Americanized.
Yeah, it's not Hing Wang or number one Chinese restaurant.
Exactly.
It's authentic.
That's good. And what else? What else is there with Mitch that you want to tell the audience?
It's a good question. I have my passion for food and I love cooking, but I try to not just make that my entire life, and I try to get out there and explore and see the world.
There you go. And your future is?
I definitely want to stay cooking for a few more years, but down the road, my long-term goal is I would like to teach culinary, most likely at the high school level. Hopefully, I would love to do it at Cape because that's where I graduated from.
Right.
But yeah, that's the long-term goal to teach.
Will you still continue? Is there any interest in having your own restaurant, your own place, your own whatever? I
wouldn't rule it out, but through school, I've learned that it's a very expensive undertaking.
And the margins are very, very thin.
Margins are very slim.
Yeah. And the nights are very long.
Yeah. And, I've had chefs at school tell me, go play with somebody else's money. Don't gamble with your own money.
They seem to be very smart people.
Yeah. I wouldn't rule it out now, but I would have to be in a very, very good place to commit to that.
Right.
Because when you own a restaurant, you pretty much put everything on the line. And
sure do.
some people are great at it and some people aren't.
Yeah, and it seems like the big groups that come in, that they have their process and system, and I'm very familiar with a lot of them, and we do the same thing in my industry as well. But you're right, it's a big undertaking, and a lot of people will just rather, just like you said, they'd rather be a mentor and teach, which is just as beneficial to the younger people, the next generation coming up. And that's where here at Paul Cares, we talk about, follow the dream. And we want to be able to help the students like yourself, to reach that dream. And you seem to be a great example of the kind of person that has realized their dream. And I know that everybody at Paul Cares has been super proud of you.
Yeah.
Super proud. And it's fun to know that your career path is on the upswing, no matter where it may end. You've done a great job for yourself, both personally and having your experiences, going across overseas for the first time, going to a very, in a well-established, nationally recognized culinary school. You had the gumption to continue and do it on your own, so you're the package. You really are. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come over and, talk to us about it. You're always welcome.
Yeah.
I know that, and you see the renovations we have here at Paul Cares at the room, and everybody keeps trying to make it better and better and better. So, because we want to help people like yourself all over again and continue. So thanks again, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, good.